Good day, Android Studio coders. This is a live demo of by Lansky here at my Android Studio channel here at YouTube. I have decided to do some kind of a live broadcast in order to test this feature that already been enjoyed by lots of YouTubers in the gaming industry and those that are doing game tutorials. And today, I have decided to present a live demo to my subscribers. As of now, I already have 530 subscribers, and this is my way of saying thank you to them. So, what I'm gonna demo today is that I'm gonna show you how to create an app with an image in a certain activity or a screen which you can resize. I have encountered this requirement on one of the apps that I have uploaded at the Play Store, wherein one of the comments is that my app is good, but they want the image to be resizable. Thus, I have researched this thing. So let's go on and demonstrate to you how it is done. So I have already made a very simple uh, basic app here with a main activity and of course a corresponding layout. So our activity we uh, don't need to make it complicated. The main activity that Java would just be very simple activity. The one that we had to mm, what you call this, the one that we have to customize is the layout. So let's go inside the layout. What I want you to do is to uh, remove this one and let's create a frame layout. So I won't be doing this from scratch. I'll just show you, I'll just copy one of my layout here that I have prepared for you. So I will just undo this one. Okay, let's undo that and I will just copy the prepared frame layout for you. I've decided not to delete immediately, so our tools context would just be copied to the new frame layout that I would be putting here. So I have here a frame layout and I will just copy this one to replace the tools context that I have here. Okay, so let's erase the old one, the old script. So actually we don't need this ads here. Uh, the one that we need is this line here, so that the app portion of inside this object would work. So if you try to delete this one, this would become an error. So let's undo that. So okay, actually that's very basic. I know that every one of you would be able to follow. So what we have here is a frame layout. You have a frame layout wherein uh, you provided a width which is match parent and layout which is match parent. But instead of making the image as a background, you put the image inside an object which is inside a linear layout. So here you have a linear layout that is match parent in terms of width as well as its height, and the orientation is vertical. And then I have here an object that's inheriting from a certain class named TouchImageView, which is inside our package or inside this application. So this one is depending upon the name of your application, the package of your application, and then that name of the class. So this TouchImageView thing, I'm not anymore gonna deal with this in a complicated manner. I was able to obtained a certain class from Stack Overflow forum, and I copied it and it worked. So let's create a class named TouchImageView. So highlight this one app and then go to File and then New Java class. And then you put this under source main slash Java app slash source or src slash main slash Java and click OK and name your class TouchImageView. Without this class, your code won't work because it would be calling this TouchImageView class. So let it be public. Just click OK. So you now have the public class TouchImageView. But actually, we shall be putting a code there that's already uh, copied that I have copied from Stack Overflow, and I would be putting that on the description of this live tutorial. Actually, I have forgotten to. So I'm gonna create the class here. Just highlight this one and gonna paste the code. Oh. So sorry for that, guys. One of my kid got awake. So here you have a couple of red here. So all you have to do here is to import that class. Okay, everyone there, just import them. So we now have context here. Okay, so everything that's in red should be imported. There's nothing special there. Just highlight and then go to the left part and click import class. Some red is dependent upon the other things that you import. So go to the main ones. For example, this getX is dependent here. So you import this motion event. Okay, then it disappears. When all the red is imported, this would be okay. Okay, and you have to import the lag class. Okay, so that's it. I'm gonna save this for a while, and please excuse me for at least 2 minutes. I'm gonna just get a glass of water. Okay, sorry for that, guys. So, in order for us to continue, our touch image class is now okay. So, uh, it is now callable from our other parts of the code. The only problem is that it's inside this it's not within where the main activity is placed. So, we're gonna drag it here. Oh no, what happened there? I think it was not. Let's just undo. Okay, so what I want to do is to transfer that inside here. Okay, so it's there. Okay, so it's within the container of the main activity class. So it's okay now. So what we have to do is just in our layout, we have to provide the image that we want to be loaded. So for example, here I have an image in my documents named google.png. Actually, this is just an image of it's a PNG file. I converted the google.com website into a PNG. So I have to transfer that. Sorry for my light screen because my Mac just got an error that I can solve. It suddenly goes a little bit white, and I browsed Google for some explanation, but there nothing suffices to explain what happened. Okay, so this is our code here. I'm gonna put that inside the drawable folder. Okay, so this is the drawable folder. I'm gonna transfer that there. Okay, so inside our code, I'm gonna call that slash. So what's happening? It's not in there. It's there. So at slash Google. Okay, it's not showing. What's the problem? Okay, let's fix that. Fix build path. Okay, let's rebuild the project, or let's clean the project and let's see if it would fix the code. Actually, I think the reason that this is in error is because we have to put something inside our build.gradle. So I'm just gonna look for something that would fix it. I think it's a certain compile dependency. So I'm gonna put an additional compile dependency there and gonna sync my Gradle file. I'm gonna do a Gradle sync. So let's see, is the sync finished? Let's go back to our layout. Okay, let's rebuild the project. Okay, so still something is wrong here. So okay, let's change the ID just to image. Actually, it has nothing to do with it. Mhm. Does it have something to do with the orientation? It says here, what does the arrow says? Fix build path. Okay. Let's try fixing this one. Let's just retype this one. Sometimes it's just a matter of retyping everything. Com.android touch image view. Okay, so I got the error now. Uh, Sorry for this, guys. Since I had just copied this from another of my package, the name of the package is wrong. So just copy this one. So that's all that there is to it. The name of the package is wrong. It's not synchronized with the actual name of the package that we have. So if you go back to design, then it's now okay. So it means that we have successfully set up our image to be resizable. So you have a lot of choices here. Although the image would always display in your design, in your layout design as portrait, you can actually programmatically change it from portrait to landscape through your onCreate. So let's just load this one. Actually, you cannot see that it's resizable through your emulator. You have to test this on your actual phone to be able uh, to see the actual image that it's actually resizable. We have some comments right now. I have not noticed it. Uh, I should have noted them. Sorry for not being able to check the chat that some people already have a question. Okay, so let's go back. So here I can actually, make my images here. Okay, I can actually make my images portrait when the app is loaded. For example, here uh, I can make my image landscape. Although in design view, it seems as if it's just portrait. So you can just put this one. So import the class, import class. So you have set requested orientation activity that activity inside the quotes activity info that screen orientation landscape. So if you do this, if you go to the layout, it's always shown as if it's portrait. But if you load the app, it would actually be landscape. So let's try it now. Okay, so now it's a landscape orientation. If you can now resize this thing through your fingers, you can open close your finger, and then this image would be resized. But we cannot test that inside the emulator. So let's remove the line of code that causes it to be oriented as landscape. Let's just comment this out. Okay, and you would see that it's now a portrait. So let's check if we have some questions from our from the people viewing our Where is it? There are questions being passed to us right now. Okay. Oh, no, no one has asked the question. I think Rabi Komarsoni has left. So, so guys, please, guys, don't hesitate to ask a question. I'm here to help if I know the answer. So I have just commented here on the chat of on our live Android Studio live demo that you guys could actually ask a question. So if you have no question regarding this thing, we can move to another topic. Any topic that you would like. Would you like to know what could go wrong in a certain app that has a button click event? Actually, a lot could go wrong in such apps. Okay, so actually, I can show you that through your Android manifest here, you could actually change the label of your screen or above your action bar. Actually, it says here Android Resizable Image Demo, but you guys could actually change this one. Uh, hey guys, do you see the emulator? I don't think, I am not sure if the emulator shows. So that's the problem uh, with the mode that I have shown here. The emulator is not showing. Through your emulator, you have to test this on your actual phone. I'm looking if the in our live demo the emulator is showing because the emulator is actually part of Android Studio. Image that it's actually resizable. Oh no, the problem with my we have some comments right now. I have not noticed it. Emulator is not showing. I should have noted them. Okay. Sorry for not being able to check. I'm gonna change the. Some people already have a question. Okay. So let's go back. So here I can actually. I'm gonna show my entire screen, not just the application window. The problem with my with what I have done a while ago is that the emulator is not being shown because I'm just showing my Android Studio application screen. So right now I'm gonna retest this one so that you would see. I'm gonna load my. I can actually make my images here. Sorry, uh, I had my actual live demo window at YouTube with a sound. So here it is. The emulator has shown that the image is in portrait here, but if you remove the comment on the orientation like this and run it again, the image would now be in landscape. Okay, so if you see that guys, it is actually in landscape mode. So I'm gonna check if you see that. I hope you see that. It's a little bit of a delay here in the buffer, but I hope you see that the emulator has now changed the display of the image into a landscape mode. So let's go back again. I'm gonna show you that you can actually change the label of this action bar here. So let's go back to the portrait, this portrait orientation. So you see here it says Android Resizable Image Demo. This is the name of our application inside the strings resource named app name. It's calling this one through here. Inside, actually, I think it's by default. Oh no, it's inside the manifest. It's calling the label. The label here is calling the string resource app name, and then you can actually replace this one with your own. For example, you name it as Google homepage, and then when you load this thing, it actually changes to Google homepage. So for every screen that you have, you could actually customize the label above on your toolbar, and you could actually remove the toolbar. So you go here in the Android theme, the style is active. You could look for no action bar here. Anything that says no action bar, let's get this one. No action bar, and then if you run this, the toolbar would disappear. See? No more toolbar for you. So let's check if we have some questions. Actually, we don't have any questions right now from uh, our viewers, but we have two guys watching. I think I'm one of them because I'm loading this screen. So let's move on. Say just pour in those questions. Okay. So if I move on to another thing that we could discuss here. So what could go wrong? For example, instead of an image, in addition to an image, I have a button. For example, uh, below the image, I could have a button. Example here, I have a button here. Hmm. Okay. Uh, the look of the button is actually not important. Let's provide an ID. Okay, just call it button, or let's call it go to next activity. Okay. For example, you have a button there which is go to next activity. Let's name it btn next, for button next. So let's create a new activity, just an empty activity, and let's call it next activity. So it should not be a launcher activity, so don't check this one and just click finish. Okay, so the only thing that we shall be doing here is to label that next activity uh, as a next activity. So just put in there next activity, so that we know that we are on the next activity. So what we have to do is you provide a code inside your main activity. For example, you have public void go to next activity. Okay, so I'm showing you here what could go wrong in your code. So if you're gonna go to a new activity, of course you create an intent. You create an intent that would allow you to go to the next activity. So intent, name it intent next equals new intent. And then you could use this, or you could use get application context, and then next activity dot class. So we have shown here you have intended for this intent to go to the next activity, and you have to fire. You have to start that intent. You have to start the activity and pass the parameter of your intent. So that's intent next. So what you need to pass this the name of this procedure into the on click of that button. So let's go to the XML view. You have to create an on click inside this button and pass the name of the procedure. So my question to you guys is, would this code work? Anyone? Anyone there would like to tell me if this code works? Okay, just type in your your opinion there. I have someone watching this video right now. Two of you, at least the one who's watching this, please type whether it's your opinion that this code would work. Maybe you're a little bit delayed in your buffer there, so I'll wait for 2 minutes. Please type in your opinion. Oh, that's a good question. Okay. Uh, okay, I'm gonna answer that question. Uh, actually, there is nothing wrong with using this, uh, but sometimes I have the most of the time I have the practice of using get application context, because there are some code, it's especially when it's so deep in level inside a certain procedure, that this would not work. Uh, but most of the time, get application context always works. So I have to comment that out here. Uh, it's just a good habit on my part, because there are instances the keyword word this does not work. Okay, but in this case, you can use this. This would work in this case. There are some instances that this would not work, but for this one, it would work. But uh, here, I would just like to get your opinion whether uh, passing the name of this procedure to activity main activity underscore main.xml on click for the button would work. So thanks for the question. So I also type here the answer. Okay, for our viewers out there, I would really appreciate if you subscribe to my Android Studio channel. I would be very much appreciate if I would be able to help. If you have any questions, I hope I can answer them. And if not, I do not have yet the information, we can research it together during this time that I'm making a live demo. So just pour in those questions. I'm showing you how I do code, how I work. In most of my projects, I don't really know the answer immediately. But by doing the research, while doing the project, I usually gets the answer. So it's not really important that you already master everything. That's impossible to happen because Android Studio software development kit and its corresponding uh, intricacies is so complex, is so huge already. No one can really master it. So you only need what you need for a certain project. You only need to research to know the specifications of your project. And not all of the concepts of Android Studio are needed for a certain project. So, do we have any questions there? So, Mazurek did not provide me an opinion. Actually, okay. Since none of you provided an opinion, I'm gonna answer my own question there. Or maybe it has not yet buffered. But actually, has already answered my question. I asked a question on get application context. Okay. Okay. It's really exciting to do some Android Studio coding because it's nice that you are able to create something and put it in your phone. Before that's the case of websites, but now people are more concerned with their phone. People use their phone more than browsing a website, more than using a computer. So it's more profitable. It's more enjoyable to code for the mobile, and you have to choose your area, your goal area, whether you become an expert for Android or iOS. Uh, I've decided to focus right now on Android because I can focus on both. They're both complicated animals. So I just have chosen Android because most of my projects are in Android. Okay. No one is asking yet, so I'm gonna answer this one. Our code right now won't work. Our code would crash. And I'm gonna show you there's a bug in this code, and I want everyone, every beginner to know this, to be aware of this, because sometimes it's really complicated. You thought that you have done everything, that you have no mistake, but you have a very simple error that you are not able to fix because you are not aware, or sometimes even like me, I've already done this a lot of times, but sometimes I forget. So I want to save the beginner programmers the pain, the time wasted debugging this very simple error. So if I click the button here, then the app would crash. The app would stop. Why? Because this procedure is not passed with the view parameter. So since the button is a UI, you have to pass a view parameter to it. So you declare a view here, the view class, and name it whatever name you want. You can name it X. So then highlight it like that and import that class, and automatically it would be imported here. So it's here, you have imported that here. Now your code would work just because of that parameter to be passed inside this procedure. I'm not familiar what is this called in Android Studio or Java. So I keep calling these things procedure. Nevertheless, it's okay whatever you call that as long as our program works. So it would now work. So you're now at the next activity here. It now works because you have successfully. Hmm, why is our code so small? Ah, let's make it bigger. Okay. So let's have text size, for example, 40 dp. Let's remove this one. Okay, so let's just center this. So let's run our code. Okay, so we have this next activity here. So it's practically simple, and actually, we didn't encounter any error as to our new activity called next activity because we have created that activity using the automated way of doing it. We click file and then new activity. But if you have created so when you create an activity, you have a Java class or your .java file and your layout. So as shown here, your next activity is your new activity does have the onCreate protected void onCreate here. And the important thing you should know here is that it's calling its own layout here. Actually, you could change this to any layout. I have encountered before that a programmer was not able to fix the bug because he has created his .java and layout separately, and then although that you have connected it here, when you create your activity in an automated manner, it also automates the adding of that activity inside your manifest, your Android manifest.xml. So here, when before you created your next activity, this thing is not present. But since you automated it, Android Studio automated adding this code. But if you do it one by one, for example, I create a next activity.java and I create the XML and I connected the XML here but forgot to include that activity inside my manifest or your manifest, your Android manifest.xml, then you would encounter a bug or your app would close. So be sure of that. Although we do things in an automated manner through a wizard like this, we should be understand how each thing connects so that uh, when something gets wrong or our code crashes or our app closes, we know where to look for the error. So, are any questions coming in? Please, how to create app sales? App sales. Uh, what do you mean by app sales? Okay. He has something to ask. I just don't understand it much. Please clarify. Okay. So here, for example, if I remove this one, let's remove this one. And our app would encounter an error. Oh, if we go to the next activity, our app would close. But let's put that again, activity that next, okay, and then our app would be okay again. So it's important that you know what's really inside. Okay, you see, our app fired again because we know where to fix it. So that's important. The things I'm teaching here are very basic, but you cannot graduate to the next level of Android programming if you don't know these things. So as a beginner, take these things into heart, learn it properly, keep this in mind, and you would be okay. Okay, let's see the questions. Can we override the behavior on clicking the back button? Oh, that's a good question. That's a good question. Override the behavior on clicking the back button. So you mean you want to prevent an app doing a back button thing? Actually, yes. I think I have encountered some a code for that. Just let me check. I have an app for it in one of my projects. Just don't remember it, but let's find that one. Let's find the code for that. Let's copy that. Okay. I think I have a code for that back. I can prevent the back. Mhm. Let's see. I have a code for that. I would not allow a back. Mhm. Where is it? Okay, it's not there. I think I have that one. Wait for me there. I already solved that back thing, but I can't find it. Okay, bear with me. I have already done that before. I just don't wanna recode it. Back, you want to prevent the back button from functioning. So you need to put a toast like back. Okay, I got it here. So it's here. It's here. I'll just copy this in a text file. Okay, let's go back to our demo. Okay, new. So this is the code. Let's zoom in. The code is you want to prevent the back button from functioning on a phone. So you have a public void on back pressed. I think this is a standard function that's being called. So it doesn't have a special function here except that I provided a toast. So let's try it. Okay, let's try this one. So you provide a toast that says back press disabled on this page. Okay, let's put this inside our next activity. Okay, okay, just like that one. And we have to import the toast class. Import toast class. So let's put that there. Okay, we have our app and let's go to our next activity. And now let us try to click back. And we have back press disabled in this page. So if you wanna look at it, it's actually just public void on back pressed. I'll just copy it on the, pass it on the comments. Actually, it's just like that. Mizuko Mazurek, it's just a standard. I think it's embedded in inside Android Studio. It's embedded procedure. You just have to provide a toast for that. Quite easy. Actually, it's not my own original code. I just got it from Stack Overflow. So Stack Overflow really helps us developers to share information. So I encourage you guys to also contribute to Stack Overflow so that other developers like us uh, who needs what we know would be able to take advantage of what we know already, because we are also using the knowledge of others to further our own goal, to for us to create our own app to avoid errors. No, there is no need to create the back button. Actually, the back button is already embedded in your phone. But you can create the back button and provide. You can create your own back button if you want. Uh, if you want that, but it's really not necessary. But if you need to create that in your own app, you have to provide a code that disables that if you want to disable that. But there's no need creating that button if you would just disable it. So most of us really just would like to make use of the back button present in our phone. So you can access that back button and provide some functionality for it. You may not want to disable that. You can just, for example, uh, uh, provide a toast message if you want a toast message whenever the back button is tapped or clicked. Okay, so maybe we can go to another topic here. Okay, let me check what I can share with you guys. Maybe I can provide an input, not necessarily a code. This is just an advice. So just delete this one. Okay, this is just an advice from me. It is not necessary to be a super expert before we release our first app in the Google Play Store. Actually, there are many modes of earning as an Android developer. I'll provide two modes. So two modes of earning an income as Android developers. Of course, first one is first one is as an employee or hired developer, or through passive income from our apps in the Play Store. Okay, so You have two modes of earning an income as Android developer, as an employee or a hard Android developer. Android developer slash programmer. Actually, we or number two, through passive income from our apps in the Play Store. So actually, we don't need to choose which of this you want. Do you want? You can mix this thing. You can be an employee that is a programmer, and you can also have apps in the Play Store that earns for you using AdMob, using Leadbulk, or some other modes of earning. So we have a question here. How much do they worth to release an app? It was $35 like 2 years ago. I'm not really sure what do you mean by that. Uh, to release an app, so let's answer that question. To release an app, you can program the app yourself or pay someone to do the programming for you. So, uh, if you want others to do the programming for you, the cost is really dependent upon uh, how complicated the app is. You mean no? Okay. Your question is how much is a developer account? So the question is a Play Store developer account. The answer is $25. It's actually just $25, and that's one-time fee. Yes, it's only one-time fee. Oh, unlike in one-time fee, unlike in iOS, which is $99 per year. So it's cheaper to become an Android developer. It's one of the things I have considered uh, why I go to Android instead of iOS, because it's cheaper to become an Android developer when it comes to the cost of maintaining your Play Store account. While as an iOS developer, you need to pay $99. If you're just a new or a beginner, $99 is a little bit expensive. Yeah, so let's have some surveys here. Uh, okay, let's hear. You can recover the $25 in just a few months, even just a month or less, if you launch a couple of apps in just a month. Oh, okay. Uh, Developing apps with Qt not really necessary to have Qt for your apps. The only reason to do that is if you primarily market using a website. So if your app is in the Play Store, you don't need that because people can download your app from the Play Store. It's and it's safer to launch your app in the Play Store because really just like now, Google has really come up with ways to secure our apps. So uh, the new functionality of the software development kit using Android Studio really prevents people from tampering with your Android apps and stealing your code. So I advise you to primarily deploy your application through the Google Play Store. Although you can also deploy using your own website if you have Qt, but the downloads would not be that significant. So your income would only be significant if your apps are deployed on the Play Store, whether you're developing for Google or iOS. So you have to comply with their terms. Be take care in knowing and reading the terms of service, the what's prohibited. Don't violate any of them so that you won't be banned. Okay. Thanks for your question, guys. Our live demo has been so interactive because you have strived to provide a interactivity through your questions. So thank you very much for that. And I would like to share something before I go. I think we have that's to cover. Mhm. What's the important thing for you as developer? Anything that you would like to know? So if you're already familiar with Android Manifest here, you know that you can really change your launcher activity. So if you want to change your launcher activity, just transfer this intent filter to the activity that you want to become the launcher activity. For example, if I transfer this one to next activity here, this next activity would become my launcher activity. So let's try that. The next activity would be the one to load instead of the main activity. So you see, it's really very easy to change your launcher activity. So that's another input for you guys. But for the meantime, I'm gonna return this intent filter to, so it says here, the launcher, Android intent that category launcher plus this Android intent that action that main. This serves as an intent filter to what activity would you want to become the launcher activity. So those are fairly basic things, but you see, it's very important, guys. Okay, so another thing that you we have to take into consideration is mhm, actually this is not an Android Studio thing, but have you noticed that Android Studio in its mipmap folders now has two kind of launcher PNGs, the standard square one and the round one. And I would like to recommend a where to find a free rounder. You have your square launcher and you have to make it round. So you can convert that into a round launcher by going to a certain website. So that's just type on Google, type this one. .png rounder generator. So click this one. It has quickpicturetools.com/n/rounded corners. Use this one, guys. I'm just gonna provide this inside our comments later. So inside the description of this video. So let's provide a demo for this. For example, load an image. So for example, if I have a launcher here, so I'm gonna make this round, just rounded corners, just make it percent 50, 50. Oh, no, it's over. Just, it's up to you. I think it's a big one. But if it's 512 by 512, that would be easy. No. So I should convert this into 512 by 512. Okay. Okay. So that's it. Because our usually our launcher activities is a square format. So if you have this and just make it 50%, then that's rounded. And make it .png so that you could remove the make the background transparent. So if JPEG, it's not possible for JPEG. So make it PNG and make the background. Then you can generate that one and you have a rounded corners. Usually it should be named launcher so that you comply with the naming convention of your bitmap folders. So you have here now the rounded app. So it's easy. It's not an Android Studio thing, but one of the things you have to solve in your when you do your application, one of your concerns. Okay, so I'm happy that I'm able to provide that tip to you. It's a very important thing. That tip is important for you to be able to consider that. So I'm really very sorry, guys. The quality of my video is not really low. The problem is my screen. My my Mac screen just turned into somewhat bright and light. I don't know what happened. I just tried to install something. I hope this goes back to the original thing. So other things that should be considered is uh, if you launch your app, you should have these things ready. Okay. On your account, you should have for publishing your app. You need the following: three, at least three images, at least three 320 pixels or more on any sides. Okay, you can have more than three, but the three is the required minimum. Number two is 1512 by 512, 3, 11024 by 500. Actually, you could use the same image for 512 by 512 and 124 by 500. Just change the dimensions using your Paint program or the image editor for Mac. And then after this, these are the basic images. You could provide more images. You could have a promo image, but I don't usually provide that one. Then you have to, in addition to the things that you have to certify at Google, you have to provide a rating for your app. And and then you these other things. The other things are fairly guided by Google, but you have to ensure that your app has a rating and your rating is accurate. For example, you have a book, and that book, although it's just text or has some content that is about, for example, violent in nature, has some form of violence or sexual content in nature, you have to reveal that. There's a rating questionnaire that you have to comply, and you have to take that seriously, because if now Google has introduced a actual review by a real person, it's not automated review anymore. And if they find that you're not really honest with your review, they may cite you with a violation of their terms. And lucky for you, if you are not banned, your app is just unpublished. But even if it's just unpublishing your app and you have provided a lot of effort in that, it's really something that would really hurt you. So that's important for you to consider. Okay. Okay. So those are the things that I have shared today. I would be doing this live demo again. And thanks for watching, guys. I really apologize for the quality of my video. It's not because uh, of my what you call this. It's not really because that I have a poor internet connection. The problem is this: just before I made this live demo, my Mac screen just turned a little bit bright, which affected the quality of or the readability of the text inside my video. But anyway, I'm really happy, although I don't have much viewers in my first live Android Studio live demo. I'm really happy that there's a lot of interaction. And next time, I'm gonna provide uh, more complicated, more advanced live demo. So I'm gonna prepare for it. But I welcome you to after I finalize this with the descriptions regarding the touch image view class, the other things that have been discussed here. I'm gonna put all that in the description of the video after this has been encoded. This live demo has been encoded and processed by YouTube. This would become a permanent part of my videos. I would put everything that had been discussed in the description of this video. So thank you very much for watching my live demo. I'm happy to have provided basic information to each one who have listened and provided his time and in viewing and watching my video. So thank you again, guys. More power to you, and good luck to all your Android Studio development projects. So good afternoon and bye-bye.